the sky. Open up your window, let the sun in, and sing out with your arms stretched open wide. Hello world!
Hello, world.
Hello, world. Hello, Matt.
Good morning, Chloe. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. How are you?
So good. So good. Kind of. This morning has been just like kind of like one of those mornings where you move at like breakneck speed, but you're like, or you feel like it's breakneck speed, but then you realize you're just moving super slow.
Time is just passing and you can't.
I made a smoothie this morning that was entirely too thick. So when I put it in the thing, this thing and try to drink it, it doesn't come out. It's like a frosty. Like I was able to do this and nothing came out.
So we call it back in Wisconsin. It's a concrete.
A concrete, yes. But that also now means that I have so much leftover smoothie in my fridge right now. I'm basically going to be drinking the same smoothie all day. Because I can't just throw it away.
Well, at least you don't have to, you don't have to think about what your next meal is going to be.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. But I'm also like, oh, now I have to drink this. I have to drink all of this. Why are things so hard? Sorry.
I'm so sorry, Matt. Your hardships are truly inspiring that you persevere.
I get 30 seconds to whine at the beginning of every show if I want to, because it's my show.
Yeah.
But then I won't. It's our show. I'm sorry, it's our show.
I mean, you run and everything. I'm just here.
Oh, yes. Good morning, chat. We've got some people saying hi this morning. Good morning, King Senor One. Good morning, the Renee Zara. Thanks for joining us this morning. We've got other people in the chat that are being quiet, and that's all right. Just plain Maggie. Good morning.
Good morning.
Awesome. It's Hello World. It's the last Monday of February.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm upset because
why?
I completely missed Mardi Gras.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Forgot about it entirely.
Just forgot about it completely?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense because we live in New England where it's not really like a big deal. But at my
I think my
mom visited New Orleans once, or Nolans, sorry.
Nolans, yeah.
Nolans. And she is like a collector of culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if she finds a holiday that she likes, we celebrate it forever.
And Mardi Gras is one of those holidays?
Mardi Gras is one of them. Santa Lucia, it's a Swedish holiday. Despite my face, I'm not Swedish. But we celebrate that. We celebrate Mardi Gras, St. Nick's Day.
Is that Christmas?
It's like a pre-Christmas.
Oh, pre-Christmas. I love pre-Christmas.
It's like at the beginning of a lot of it. Well, Santa Lucia and St. Nick's Day are both like Christmas-related holidays. So December is just...
This is just your mom wanting to have more holidays.
More presents. But
I've been to New Orleans a total of twice. Once was with my high school marching band. When I was a sophomore in high school, we went down and played the halftime show at the Sugar Bowl.
Wow!
With like a bunch of other, there was like 5 or 6 bands from across the country. We all came together and did like a field show.
I love that.
It was just standing in place and playing some patriotic tunes. But we got to do, we got to roam around New Orleans, chaperoned, of course.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And then the second time was with my folks. We decided to go down to New Orleans for Christmas one year. It was kind of like a spur of the minute, kind of the last minute kind of thing, a spur of the moment. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And we just we got in the car and drove south.
Just started driving. Oh yeah. That's pretty normal in the Midwest of like Wisconsin, Illinois. Like there, when people go south for vacation, when they go to Florida, we just road trip it.
You just do it. You just drive it.
Drive.
Yeah. Yeah. I talked to my wife about
it's only like 12. 2 days of driving. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, but my wife is big into flying. She loves to fly, so it's like we get there quicker. I was like, yeah, but just drive it.
Just drive it.
I do remember when I went down in high school, we went to a place called Mardi Gras World, which is, I guess, the big warehouse where they store all the floats, and we got to have like a little party in there with all the floats everywhere, and that was pretty cool.
Of Wellington. I'm stunned that New Orleans needed to import a marching band.
It wasn't we were a high school marching band, so it was like a thing that like the college football people were doing. They're like, it wasn't it was showcasing marching bands from around the high school marching bands from around the country. And my high school marching band, for being in a small town of like 3,100 people.
Yeah.
My high school had 600 people in it, and 200 of those people were in marching band. Wow. So it was marching band program was huge. Yeah. In my town, and Indiana too. The Indiana marching band is huge in Indiana.
Yeah. Well, what else is there to do?
Must be a Midwest thing.
Must be a Midwest.
Like drum and bugle corps is big in Wisconsin, right?
That and bowling. Did you have a gym unit on bowling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were seniors, and we got to get on the bus and go to the bowling alley during school hours.
Yeah, and I bet you know how to score a bowling game by hand, don't you?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Same.
Unless it's candlepin, because F that S.
What is that? What is it?
Candlepin bowling is not real bowling. There,
it's tiny pins. You could.
That might be an uncommon opinion in New England, but
we should probably stop alienating our New England viewers.
Yes, during school hours, Joey Blue Eyes.
It was for school. We got credit for it.
Yeah, we did that. We had a square dancing unit as well.
Yes.
PE was weird. Did you play pickleball?
No.
Did you ever play pickleball? Was a combination of tennis and ping pong.
I think that must be an Illinois thing, because I've never heard of it except for people from Illinois.
Really? Yeah. Matt has alienated me with his candlepin views. Yeah, Joey, it had to be somebody.
I'm sorry that it was you.
But please stick around for Chloe. If nothing else, you can mute my side of the channel.
I'm nice,
but you don't have to mute Chloe.
Well, anyway, going back to holidays, is there a holiday for today, Matt?
What, Chloe? You're the segue queen. There is it's not really a holiday. It's a national day. Today is National Cook a Sweet Potato Day.
It's not just Sweet Potato Day.
No, it's Cook a Sweet Potato Day. So, do you like them? Do you like sweet potatoes?
Listen, I need to tell you that you can cook potatoes and sweet potatoes in the microwave.
Oh yeah.
And when I found that out, it changed my life. Here's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You wash it off. Mm-hmm. You poke some holes in it with a fork.
Uh-huh.
Pop that sucker in there for 5 to 7 minutes. You got a baked potato.
There you go. I recently discovered making sweet potatoes in my air fryer. I have an air fryer. I put a little avocado oil on the outside of that bad boy, a little camp salt around. Pop it in there for about 40 minutes. And it's the crispiest skin It's cooked all the way through. You don't have to touch it. You just set it and let it go.
Air fryers are all the rage.
Air fryers are amazing. I will go to my grave singing the praises of air fryers. So yeah, eat some sweet potatoes today, y'all. They're good for you. Looking at farmflavor.com, talking about sweet potatoes. Don't go to that website because it does have the answer to the trivia question on it. So don't don't go to that website right now. Go later.
Please, I know you're tempted, but we're begging you.
But sweet potatoes are amazing sources of beta carotene, vitamins E and C, iron, potassium, and vitamin B6.
Yes.
So they're good for you.
They're amazing.
Speaking of trivia questions, let's do this. It is trivia. It is sweet potato based.
Sweet potato based trivia.
The sweet potato is the official vegetable of this state.
Ooh.
There, that's how I should read it. Because I did put a question mark at the end of it. Did this morning. So, it's how I do. So that's your trivia question. We will tell the answer at the end of the show. That's how we get you to stick around.
Please do.
Also, little fact of the day. On this day in 1997, Dolly the sheep, the world's first cloned mammal, was announced by the Roslin Institute in Scotland.
Scotland. I remember when this happened.
Mm-hmm. People lost their minds.
No, I do remember when it happened because I was 9. I was old enough to remember. I was amazed. And I'm honestly surprised.
Oh, Joey Blue Eyes is saying they cloned an endangered animal the other day.
Yes.
Amazing.
A ferret.
Oh, great. That
a North American ferret, I think. Yeah. I'm amazed there hasn't been more cloning.
I mean, honestly, it's 2021. I would really expect Jurassic Park to be open by now.
Oh God, please.
I mean, the way things are going, it's only a matter of time before somebody's like, I can clone a dinosaur.
Oh, I hope. Well, I hope there have to be laws restricting that, right? There have to be, because
if you want to be lame, sure.
I guess. I'm not interested in reviving vicious carnivorous animals.
Yeah, there's actually Joey Blue Eyes. My household is a multiplicity kind of situation. So there's actually 4 of me, and the third one is just here for comedic effect. He's the one that does all the shows but this one. That's why all the other shows are so much funnier.
Oh
no, got the boring clone to do this show.
Well, but it's fine because then it makes me shine brighter.
That's why I do it.
Thank you.
We have a fantastic show for you today. We have 2 very, very cool guests that I'm very excited to talk to. Chloe and I are gonna chat. We're gonna talk about sweet potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna, I don't know, maybe look at some YouTube videos. I've got a really good clip. I've got a really good last week on clip to play later on in the show. So yeah, thanks for joining us. And, thanks for tuning in. Is there anything else we need to get out of the way, Chloe, before we bring on our first guest? I don't think there is.
I don't think so. Let's bring on our first guest.
We were chatting with him before the show started. Very, very interesting gentleman. Very, very fun guy to talk to. He is an author, and he has a new book that has just come out called The Eagles of Heart Mountain. Let's bring out Bradford Pearson. Bradford, good morning.
Hi, thanks everybody.
Thanks for waking up early and joining us this morning.
Like I said before, it's showing up at 9:45 to a morning show when you have 2 little kids that are 4 and 18 months is not incredibly early in my book. So
yeah.
This is basically a lunch shoot for me.
Oh, good.
Bradford's had that sweatshirt on for the last 6 days. This is.
I just washed like here and I have to do things.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Honestly,
Bradford, I've been doing that since July. So good morning. Thanks for coming on this morning. Where are you calling us from this morning?
I'm in beautiful South Philadelphia.
Oh, beautiful South Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
finally starting to thaw out a little bit here from the previous weeks of ice and snow.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised that it waited this long to do it, but now winter is just getting all of its crap out, between now and spring, which is honestly, it's like 3 weeks away. Like,
So close.
the first day of spring is like 3 weeks away. That's 3 more Hello Worlds until
That's how we measure our time here.
Right, as you should.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that was one of the reasons why we started this channel and why I started doing this show, is so I could have some semblance of time. So I could be like, okay, I'm doing this show. It must be Monday.
You don't understand calendars, don't understand weeks, months, just cyclically, it seems like every 7 days you do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. And days, it's scrawls on the wall.
I go by Hello World and the lunar cycle. So
yeah, that makes sense. So Bradford, you have a new book, The Eagles of Heart Mountain. You were telling us a little bit about it before the show started, but for our viewers at home, talk to us about this book. Tell us what it's about.
Sure. So The Eagles of Heart Mountain is the true story of a group of Japanese American teenagers who were sent to an American concentration camp during World War II. And while they were at this camp in Wyoming, they eventually became the best high school football team in the state of Wyoming's history. So they sort of came together and just beat the heck out of all of these other teams from Wyoming, from white high schools across Wyoming and Montana.
That is so cool. I mean, it's a cool story. It's like awful that we put these, children
that's
into
a part of our history.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that's part of it too. That's part of it too, right? Is that like it's a super messed up story, but that these kids and the people in the camp found this sort of sliver of joy through football.
Mm-hmm. See, football's not all bad.
Yeah.
So how did this? When did you first hear about this story? What kind of inspired you to write this book?
Yeah, so maybe it was 2013, I was working a freelance assignment in Yellowstone, and this camp is sort of right outside the eastern entrance of Yellowstone National Park. So I was writing a story about Yellowstone, and some folks that I was with on this press trip said, we're going to go check out this Heart Mountain Interpretive Center, which is a museum where the camp used to be. Mm-hmm. And while I was there, I was able to sort of go through the museum, and I walked in and I thought to myself, like, I studied history in college. Like, I feel like I got a good idea of what I'm going to learn here. And I walked out, was just thoroughly embarrassed by how little I knew about this part of U.S. history. And while I was at the museum, there's one part of the display that talks about this football team, the Heart Mountain Eagles. And it sort of stuck in my head for months and then years, until I eventually was like, okay, I got to figure out some way to learn more about these guys. So I reached out to the museum again, and then everything sort of snowballed from there. I started researching the team, and then I started finding any surviving players or their families. And then from there, it just sort of snowballed. And then I got the book deal in 2018 and researched and wrote it for the next almost 2 years.
Wow. So you were quarantining before the quarantine was cool, because you were working on a book.
Yeah, it's interesting because I used to be the features editor at Southwest's In-Flight magazine. So then when I left that, so you have like a bunch of coworkers and you're sort of working on this monthly and daily project, putting this magazine out. And then you immediately go and you're like, oh, okay, I work by myself now in a room, and my job is to just read and write by myself. And you just immediately go from like so much social interaction to like, okay, here's your one task that you have to accomplish by the time that you're going to have to turn this book in if you want to keep the money they gave you.
They've already given me the money. I need to deliver. Make good.
Yeah.
Because it's already spent. I'm not giving it back.
Yeah. I've got kids. I've got rent. I'm sure this car is going to break down at some point. I can't be getting this money back.
So as one of our, as Rachel said in the chat, that sounds kind of scary to have that pressure. Did you find it easier to like focus on that one task and work by yourself, or was it more challenging?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's Well, for me, the most difficult and scariest part about writing this book was that I'm not Japanese American. So I had to sort of do everything I could to make sure that I didn't screw up. Not necessarily just the factual stuff, but cultural stuff and language stuff and translation things. So I spent a lot of time working not just in research, but then also, meeting and becoming friends with a lot of people in the Japanese American community. So I had this network of folks that I could lean on and say, hey, is this accurate, or is this tone deaf, or did I misinterpret a situation? So that was the part that sort of every day that I had to, like, I've probably thought about it every day since I started working on the project, being like, okay, how do I do this project in the most sensitive way that still tells a good narrative story that people are going to be interested in reading? But to the original question, I decided that I basically, my publisher, I kind of told them in my original meetings, I said, like, I kind of called their bluff. I said, like, hey, if you pay me enough money, like, I won't do anything else when I'm doing this book. And they were like, oh, okay. And then like they did, like they gave me enough that I could like pay myself a salary and like do this as my jobs. And I was like, oh, now I really do have to like do this one thing for the next 2 years. And, it's obviously a blessing. Like I'm not digging ditches for a life, so it's like, so it's a blessing to be able to tell the story and to have this career, but it is kind of hard sometimes to be like, okay, well, tomorrow I will get back and work on the same story for 2 years straight. So now that the book's out, it's nice. It's obviously nice to have this, but it's also nice to think about different stories and other things that I might want to do in the upcoming months, from magazine writing or maybe another book.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you have any ideas kicking around for another book?
I do. I should probably tell my agent before I tell anyone else.
Oh, probably. No, I get that. We're just always trying to get that exclusive.
Trying to break news. I get it.
We're a mid-level Twitch channel that reaches
this is what the people want.
Tens of people.
Hitting journalism.
They're like, did you see? Like, here's the news of the day.
I know. I'm sorry.
So we'll see. It's one of those things where it's like, like I said, it is pretty isolating to do this kind of work. So it's like, do I want to spend another 2 years doing something like that? Or do I want to go back into a newsroom? And obviously like right now it's kind of hard to figure out because it's like, no one's actually at work right now anyway. So if I got another job, it would still be me sitting here doing just a different job by myself.
Yeah. I guess you've just got to get that, like, you just have to like hit on that one thing that you're like, oh, now I can't think of anything but this. I know. And that's what happened because it sounds like the first time. Yeah, that's what happened the first time. And it was like, every reporter knows that if you're working on a story and you can't stop thinking about another story, like that's the thing you should actually be working on. And that's what happened with this book. And it's what happens with anyone's career, right? If they're working in what you guys do, or if you're working on, if you work in tech or something like that, it's always the thing that you're thinking about at night as opposed to your day-to-day job. That's the thing you should actually be like, okay, I got to actually do this thing or I'm never going to be able to let it go. I don't know that I'd be able to hold down a real job right now. Like I've been unemployed for almost a year, and barista life. But it's like now I'm so like I think about this channel all the time. So it's like I would have to like I would have to kind of retrain myself to be like, okay, I have to focus on this and not try to figure out stuff for this.
Yeah. I mean, my wife's an attorney, so we're both in the house together, and she's doing like really professional things, like really like legal things, things that pay our bills and make sure we can retire at some point. And it's like, and it's, and here I am, so.
Well, I mean, you're writing a book. You have,
that is true. It always feels weird as a creative, like compared to how other people live their lives, or how like, people working in the corporate world of like going into an office every day. And for me, like, there are a lot of reasons I couldn't have a desk job, like physical pain, focus. I just don't have, like, it's still amazing to me what people working in an office are able to accomplish. Sure. And so it feels really weird to like be sitting here in comfortable clothes and just like talking with my friends, but it's still like important work, you know? It's
You're still doing something that like people enjoy and brings people entertainment and you know. Like I think about it a lot and think about my career based on the fact that like my dad, when I was growing up, my dad was an electrical contractor. So he would leave at like 5 o'clock in the morning and go put in alarm systems in prisons or like on the top of water towers and things like that. And it's like, oh, I like sit here with my soft fingers and type all day. And it's like, but these are things that like other people do that, you know, and have obviously put me in a position that I can do this for my career. So
yeah, we've got a speaking of work, off to teach, Joey Blue Eyes. Keep fighting the good fight, friend. Thank you so much. That was a little shout out to Rachel. Rachel likes to do the salute thing, so I try to work that in. Speaking of Rachel, she does have a question in the chat. She says, was there a part of this book that was like particularly hard to crack? Like, did you hit a point while writing this book that you're like, oh, I need to oh no, how am I going to figure this out?
Yeah. Actually, so one of the more difficult things is that like when you write about a football team, like football happens in the fall, but then you have to write the rest of the year. Otherwise you can't just like jump. So I had to do all this research about things that the football team, what those players were going through the rest of the year too. So from a research standpoint, it's like, you can't just say after the last game, be like, oh, see you next September. Like,
right. Chapter 2 next September.
So, you know, a lot of that from a narrative structure was really just trying to figure out how do I write the rest of this book. And luckily is the wrong word, but at this particular camp, there was also a really big draft resistance movement. So when the camps opened, the War Department didn't allow Japanese Americans to join the army. But then later on, they realized like, oh, it would be super helpful to have like tens of thousands of other Americans fighting in this war that we could send to Europe. So then they're like, oh, okay, now we're just going to draft them out of the camps. So then there was this huge movement at Heart Mountain in particular, and then at some of the other camps too, where they were like, no, we're not going to do that because like
you've already put us in a camp.
Right.
Why would we go?
Yeah.
So
it's like, but at the same time, they were like, okay, no, we will go fight this war because we are Americans and we're loyal, but like close the camps or, you know, protect our families, make sure we're actual citizens. Because one of the big arguments was like, okay, say I go to war in Europe and then I go on leave. Do I have to go back to a camp? Or like, am I allowed to stay a free person in the rest of the United States? And it was this really interesting question of loyalty and who, you know, respect within the Japanese American community. So when I figured that out, that was going to be sort of the second part of the book, that because these teenagers on this football team were the people that were having to make this decision, right? Because they're all 17, 18, all at draft age. So they were the kids that were having to, you know, be asked to fight this war. And then, so kids would leave practice on Monday to go get their physicals and come back as like a private in the army and then go play this high school football game. So that was like, pressure. Yeah, it's a lot to ask, you know, it was a lot to ask of any 18-year-old, never mind someone who had been taken from their home in Los Angeles or San Francisco and sent to a camp for the 2 years prior.
In Wyoming.
Yeah.
Like
where
you're in San Francisco.
Negative 30 and there's snowdrifts that can bury your house, your barrack, which was built in an hour and with green wood. So it's just full of holes that you have to stuff newspaper in. So you basically like go from, you know, and one of the main characters of the book and a lot of the people at Heart Mountain in particular were from LA. So you have people who have never gotten below freezing in their entire lives. They don't have winter coats. They don't have wool pants, like things that normal people who live in the northern part of the United States just own. But you don't have that if you live in LA or San Diego. And all of a sudden, you know, the camp opened in August of 42 and the first snowfall was like the second week of September.
Wow. So just like, welcome to Wyoming.
Welcome to Wyoming. Here's a Sears Roebuck catalog that maybe if you have enough money left, you can buy a wool coat out of.
Because of course they didn't supply them with warm.
They only had enough. Basically, they had enough that they could bring one suitcase and whatever their arms could carry.
Wow. So you said when doing research for the book that you connected with like actual players
Mhm.
from this time. You were able to do that? There were people that were still alive and wanting to tell this story.
Yeah, so there was one living player that I was able to interview, and then I was also able to speak with a couple players, widows or siblings, folks who had died before. But actually, some of the widows were really helpful because two of the families they had met as teenagers at the camp. So the players met their wives in the camp when they were 16 or 17.
Wow.
And then even though the players are died, their widows are in their early 90s now. So I was able to speak with them. And I talked to a lot of their siblings and their sons and daughters over the course of the project. And I was really lucky in that in the 70s, this group of California State students did a lot of oral histories with folks who had been in the camps. So a lot of the players at various points in the 70s, 80s, and 90s had done these an oral history, and those had all been digitized. So I was able to learn a lot about the players and their families and their lives before camp and during camp from these oral histories too.
Oh wow! So they had recordings that you were able to listen to. That had to have been huge, like a huge, like you're like, okay, this is like, I'm on my way.
Right. It was really helpful in terms of like creating 3-dimensional characters as opposed to just like, here's a player that scored a touchdown. It was like, okay, what was this player's life like? What was his personality like? Who, what did he do off the football field? Was he, was he class president, or did he have to work to help his family pay for their, to pay their mortgage back home at their house still in California that they'd been ripped away from, so there's all these things that I tried to do to figure out how to build these characters in the most 3-dimensional way possible, even though a lot of them and most of them weren't alive. So sometimes on certain families, they would let me into their house and I would go through their family photo albums and go through all their family memorabilia and sort of the mementos of what these people's lives were like. And even sometimes if that just ended up being a sentence here or a sentence there, if it even never ended up in the actual text of the book, it sort of helped me, at least mentally when I was writing, sort of in my mind, be able to think about how I would describe this person, even though I never met them, like they were a friend or an uncle of mine.
Were there any families that you connected with, like more than others? Like, did you connect with any particular people, like deeper than the regular interview?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is that like, in most feature stories, I'll talk to people for the interview, and then I'll usually speak to them, talk to them after the story comes out, and maybe a couple weeks or a month, and there's some people that you sort of talk to every 6 months or a year and check in and say, hey, how are you doing? But the folks in the book were like, I was part of their lives and they're part of my lives for years in this research. So there's one player who's one of the main characters is a player named Babe Nomura, and his daughter, he was by far the best player on the team and one of the best Japanese American athletes of his entire generation. Wow. And I found his daughter, he had passed away, but I found his daughter, and she was the first person that sort of gave me the okay. I talked to her about who I was and what I was interested in doing. And she was like, okay, like you can, let's hop on the phone and talk more. And then actually every time I went to LA to do research for the book, because a lot of the players are from LA and the Japanese American community is still largely based in Los Angeles County. Mm-hmm. So when I would go out there, I would actually stay at her house. I would stay with her and her husband, and she would like make me breakfast in the morning before my reporting and like give me like little snack packs. And I would go to I would go out to like the Japanese American National Museum or go through Little Tokyo or go to the Santa Anita racetrack that I needed to do some research at. And then I would come home and we would have dinner, and then I would go out and do another day of reporting. And, it helped on a personal level, but it also helped on a reporting level because there were things that like she would remember over the course of the day. And then there were days that like her mom, so Babe's widow, would come over and we would hang out in the afternoon and then have dinner together. And like, someone who's 90 sitting there for a 3-hour interview, it gets a little tiring. But if you're sitting there having dinner and, something pops up and she remembers, like we did this one thing once, or here's what I remember, another thing about camp. It's just sort of, it was a very rare experience for me from a reporting standpoint to be able to spend that much time with people in that sort of intimate of a setting. So that a lot of the time it didn't really feel like interviewing somebody. It just felt like spending a day with someone, and occasionally we would talk about their dad or their husband.
And would you like pull out your notepad, or did you have like, would you like record, like just have a little thing?
Just pull
like,
my phone. I would just pull my phone out and hit the voice recorder and just throw it on the table. So that way I would just at least have, and it's also, I've learned, especially in the recording of this book, where it's just like, I just let the recorder run for hours. And then if at the end of it, nothing's there, I just delete the file. But it's always just like, it's also super unobtrusive. Like everyone just has their phones out. So it's like, if I just have my phone out and it's recording, I just flip it over and the screen's not there and it's just recording the conversation. Everybody forgets it's there and just having like a nice conversation, and everyone's sort of, I do that with most, even if I'm on the street, I'll just put it in my front pocket.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now we were talking a little bit again before the show about audiobook. So are you looking to like put this into an audiobook kind of format?
It's already out. It's out.
Oh, it's already on audiobook.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
It's a great narrator by the name of Fyodor Chin did it. He's an actor himself and did an incredible job. And he's done other books for folks like Patrick Radden Keefe and J. Caspian Kang, and has done a lot of, I really wanted to make sure that I had a narrator whose voice sounded like the characters in the book and could, understood Japanese language and the way that the words and names sort of fall out of people's mouths. So whenever I listened to Fyodor's other books, it was incredibly apparent to me that this was somebody who knew how to tell a story in a dramatic way, but also had a good handle on the languages and could really, make sure that things didn't get flubbed. Because every audiobook, there's a couple of things where you're listening, you're like, oh, I think that's mispronounced. And you can't blame the narrator. But with this, especially, I wanted to make sure that we had somebody who really reflected the type of characters that existed in the book.
And have you cast this movie in your head? Have you cast the movie based on the book in your head? Like, do you have like a dream cast?
There's some folks that I like, but the thing is that it's really hard to, and it's sort of a reflection of Hollywood in general, right? Is that like most of us probably can't think of 10 young Japanese American actors or 10 young Asian American actors to even really fill out this cast. And whereas like if this is a book of white players, you could like rattle off a name of people. So
you're so
I think it's one of those things that is a little daunting in terms of creating something for this book beyond an actual book itself, is that it's, you would have to sort of rely on folks who are sort of young and up and coming, which I would love. And I think that the story would serve them and serve their careers well. And I just hope that, my agent right now is sort of shopping it around. So hopefully we get some interest in it. Cause that's what everybody says when they hear the story and then they read it and they're just like, why is this not a movie? And I said,
like, well, not everything is a movie right now.
Like, and also just call, if, I don't know, call the 1-800 Hollywood or whatever.
Call the toll-free number.
Call the toll-free number.
Put it in the comment.
1-800 movie now. So hopefully, I mean, fingers crossed. It could also be a good like short limited series too, the way it breaks down. So I don't know. I hope it has another life in some other way, because I read an interview once with Celeste Ng, who wrote Little Fires Everywhere, who said that like when Hulu adapted that, she really loved it because it lets somebody else view her characters and see who they thought that these characters were and what they thought that these characters would do. And I know that that's fiction and mine's nonfiction, but for me, part of the thing that would be interesting about this sort of TV or movie would be, how does somebody else interpret the story? Where do they put the emphasis on? And I would really love someone else to do that, because, like I said, I've lived with these characters now for 3 or 4 years, and I'd be interested to see how someone else might interpret their actions or their decisions.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well, and the title is just The Eagles of Heart Mountain. That is such a it's so good. It's so cinematic. Like that's.
Well, it's one of those things Wyoming being what it is a very beautiful state. Like it's just like, it's like another planet almost.
Yeah, you can see, and being out at Heart Mountain. So Heart Mountain itself is like this really oddly shaped mountain, and that it's technically it's unlike any other piece of rock on Earth. And geologists have been trying to figure it out for decades, where basically the top of the mountain is older than the bottom of the mountain. So they're trying to figure out like, how did this happen?
There's your next book right there.
And like the theory is basically that like there was this huge volcanic eruption, millennia ago that threw this rock from Montana, and it basically like skirted on like a hoverboard across 100 miles, and it landed at this spot. So like, so this
That's
camp is like
crazy.
this camp is at the base of that mountain. So like, there's this insane story happening, and then like every day they would wake up and look out at this rock that, however many thousands or millions of years ago, just happened to be 100 miles away. And it took, basically the rock was going, I think it was close to 100 miles an hour. The geologists have like tried to figure out. So imagine seeing like an entire mountain just like flying.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. I can't even wrap my mind around that.
Yeah. So hopefully that would probably be like a whole episode. I would think.
That'll be the prequel to the like it's the first episode. Like
right. In the Marvel universe, it's like we do this main story, and then they're like, all right, let's pull some threads here.
Yeah.
Let's do the whole backstory on the mountain, whole backstory on the grass.
Yeah. And then everything else has to be done with a handy cam because you blew your whole budget on the special effects for the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hand drawn.
Yeah, everything else is just hand drawn and taken a picture of and then voiced over, and it's all you're doing all the voices because that's all you can afford at this point. This looks amazing. I'm my interest is piqued. I put a link to buy this book on the SimonandSchuster.com. There you can find the Eagles of Heart Mountain. That's so cool. Are you reading anything right now? Like, what are you reading or watching anything right now? Like, what's your
what am I reading?
What
right
media
now?
intake are you doing right now?
I've really gotten in the last year, I think since the pandemic, I've really gotten into audiobooks. So I listen to a ton of audiobooks. Right now I'm listening to this book called Champions Day that's about old Shanghai. And I just started the new John Birdsall's new James Beard biography, which is super good. TV wise, my wife and I just started watching Gomorrah. I don't know if either of you have watched that.
I've seen the opening thing for it. But.
It's real good. And it's basically like, it's a mob show. So you're just like, okay, I'm hooked. Like it's like the most mob shows have to do very little to keep my attention.
Have you seen Ted Lasso yet? Have you watched?
No, I keep seeing it, but I don't have whatever system it's on.
Apple TV. And do you have an iPhone?
I do. Yeah.
If you have an iPhone, I'll bet you have Apple TV and just don't know it. Because usually, like, honestly, I never signed up for Apple TV, but I signed in with my Apple ID, and I'm like, oh, look at me, I've got Apple TV.
Well, now I know what I'm going to do as soon as I get off.
You should try that. I'm all about Lasso right now.
Yeah, everyone's all about it, and I can't go on Twitter without seeing people talking about it. And I'm like, I have to like block my eyes and like scroll and be like, I don't know what I'm going to watch.
We just finished it, and it's just one of those shows that just like it. I don't know. It's positive. It makes you feel good.
We can all use a little bit of that right now.
We can all. Oh man, absolutely. Yep. But Gomorrah, I will definitely check out now. I've been seeing like it flash up in the things you should watch kind of thing.
Yeah, it's real good. And I mean, it's just like I said, any mob show, it would have to be real bad for me to fail.
like real bad.
Like a claymation mob show, I'd probably be like, I don't know about this one.
I don't know. I'd
probably
watch a claymation surprise.
I'm gonna walk that back.
Listen, if Rankin and Bass put it together, I'm in.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, Bradford, thank you so much for joining us today. Check him out on the Eagles of Heart Mountain. You can find him on Instagram and Twitter at Bradford Pearson. So do that, follow stuff, go buy that book. And Bradford, as soon as you come up with your second book idea and you've cleared it with your agent, we'd like you to come back on the show and give us an exclusive.
I'd love to. Thank you guys both so much. It's been a blast.
Wonderful. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get that book. It looks.
Oh yeah.
Like it just looks like it would be an amazing story.
Yeah, I started the website has like a little sample of the first chapter, and I was like, Oh yeah, I gotta keep reading this.
Yeah, I can get into this.
I'm gonna finish this book.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, everybody's buythatbook.gif. I would wonder what that GIF would be. We do a lot of shows here on 2MB, and
we do quite a few shows.
We do a lot of shows, and we've started doing this little segment where we show you the clips of the week. Rachel, our producer Rachel, one of the producers of the station as a whole, she watches every show. Where I tech every show, she watches every show. We've got the shows covered, but she sits there and she clips and makes clips of different shows all through the week, and then she puts them all in a folder, and then we look through them and we make our little last week on videos. So please enjoy a sampling of last week's programming here on 2MB.
You want to share with the audience?
No, but as far as plugs, I want everybody to go back, listen to those old Randy Newman records. They live up, they're great. His solo work, he's got great melodies. I love the cynicism. Randy Newman, you love him for movies, love him for music as well.
Colin, that's a great plug. Thank you so much for reminding us to listen to Randy Newman. We're going to dive into the third round now.
CD. And it's got to be.
Where would we ever find that?
In a broken jewel case. So
I think I'm sitting on one.
Can the jewel case be broken on purpose, or must it have been broken by natural causes?
I think most Dave Matthews Band CD jewel cases were broken on purpose, so that's okay.
The other 10% was because it got too cold.
Then the
King, Queen, Dairy, Farm, Bill. I'm out. I'm out.
Bill.
I can't do it. That was the 7 stages of
That
grief.
was a journey. That was a roller coaster. That one.
Hi, it's all I'm doing is getting personal on TikTok. And I was on a karaoke competition game show on Netflix, episode 8 of Sing On. Watch me try to win $50,000.
Awesome. The part of me is like, I want to know, but part of me is like, I don't want you to tell me. I want to watch it. I'm going to watch it later.
Listen, I'm going to tell you I do really good.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, look at this room I'm in. I'm going to tell you those 2 things.
Is that room big?
If there's one thing you take away from this show, it's that.
You know what? I'm going to say it one more time just because I feel so strongly. Everyone should go on strike. Just generally speaking, there should be a strike, is what I'm going to. Generally speaking, there should be a strike. Bezos is going to enter my house and drown me in the bathtub. For saying this on Twitch.
In charge of Twitch.
She's
Here.
We're going to need your answer now.
Okay, I'm gonna say, oh gosh, this Final Destination.
Final Destination is incorrect.
Awesome.
It's one of Sophie's favorite films. It's Blade.
Leslie Snipes.
Leslie Snipes. He doesn't like taxes. He went to jail.
In the movie.
In them. Sophie, you're up.
A little bit of punishment.
Oh yeah, me.
Punishment? Oh,
You-
for taking the story. For nothing else.
I don't. Do you?
We don't need to tally all of the things that you may or may not require punishment for. Let's actually first see how this plays out and where that giant octopus that you tried to summon is.
It feels like we're tallying the things that I need punishment for now.
Because before we get to the loaf segment, I will say I am a loose tea woman.
Oh, tell us in the chat, are you a loose tea person or a tea bagger?
I will just leave it and say that I'm a loose leaf tea, loaf prefers tea of any sort.
Oh, okay. Yes, well, it's good to be versatile. It's good to be
What goes on in Monopoly? It's if you gain enough money, you can just steal things.
Wow. It's really getting bad out there. It's... Oh, no.
Oh, the spaghetti storm came.
It's only March, Mom. Why is the spaghetti storm coming?
Oh, global warming.
Oh, classic. Okay, I'm gonna roll.
You be mad at Betty White? I'm mad at you guys now. I'm mad at you guys. There's no chance you're getting me to say one negative thing about this woman. This woman is perfect. This is Betty White. I will never talk down on Betty White. This is despicable. Emily Dahl and Becca, I don't know your last name, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out your last name because this is disgusting.
And there it is. Last week on right here on 2MB. Rollin last night was probably my favorite bit of Glitty Litter last night is when they were playing a game called You Mad Bro. It was the name of the game. And they would put things on screen and they had to act like they were very upset about those things. And the way he twisted the Betty White thing, because how can you be mad at Betty White?
You can't. One of my favorite things that Betty White has ever done was when they were filming The Proposal.
Mm-hmm.
They made a video. They made like a behind the scenes video where she was being mean to Ryan Reynolds. and Ryan was like, she's being so mean to me. And then Sandra Bullock is just like, listen, I can crush you, okay? She is a sweet old woman. and just like Betty White flicking off Ryan Reynolds is just the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's so funny.
I tell you what, she can do no wrong. She's been doing this for ever. Since almost the beginning of television, she has been on. Like, I'm serious. She had like her own show in the 50s, right? And she's amazing.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Golden Girls yet,
what is wrong with you?
What are you doing with your
Golden Girls? What are you doing? What are you doing with your pandemic if you have not watched Golden Girls?
Seriously.
You're not allowed to leave your house. You might as well watch the Golden Girls. So we've got I'm excited to talk. I'm going to talk about this for just a second, if you don't mind, Chloe, just some upcoming things that are happening. So I do tech for a little show called The Rehash, which is on Friday nights. Tookie Kavanaugh, who is and David Thomas, both multiple episode guests here on Hello World. We love when they come on the show. Other Dave Thomas, he's in the chat right now. He's an amazing man. He loves to teabag. He's a teabagger. He's not a loose leaf tea kind of person. He's a teabag kind of guy, like me. Same here. Loose leaf tea is just messy.
Yeah. Well, yep.
Chloe has nothing to add there. Anyway, so I
don't think that word means what you think it means.
You keep using that word.
I'm using that word.
So they do this thing every week where it's called the Bad Film of the Week, where Tookie chooses a film that teaches David a lesson. David has been able to choose one film so far. He did not do well when he chose the film. He chose the Mass Effect movie, which is basically all the cutscenes from the video game Mass Effect put together in a movie. Tookie was not fond of that. But in response, I feel to that, for
Yeah.
this week's Bad Film of the Week, Tookie has chosen something called Night Trap.
Night Trap?
Night Trap.
Okay.
If you're unfamiliar with Night Trap,
I am.
Okay, cool. Well, then here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to, we're going to show the trailer for Night Trap, which, and we're going to be on screen and watch this trailer together. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
Switch control. We're going in.
We're in this huge house with all your friends. We have telephones, we have a car, your parents are gone, and you say, so? Come on, Sarah, what's the first thing you think of?
So that's Night Trap.
Okay, hold on.
Every one of these teenagers is in their 30s. You're 100% right, David.
This film had enough people remember it that they had a 25th anniversary edition.
Well, first of all, it's not a film. It's a video game.
That's a video game?
That's a video game. Yeah. So it was developed in 1987 and then released in 1992. And it's one of those video games. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but this is the cool thing is Thursday night, this Thursday, the day before the rehash airs, David, Tookie, and myself are going to play this game on a subscriber-only show starting at 6, which I'm very excited about.
There wasn't any. Did I miss it? Did I miss the parts where they showed the video game happening?
Well, here's the thing. It's all live action people.
Okay.
And basically how I think it works is you play a person that is working security in this big house. And evidently there's something about this house. It's full of traps. Hence the title Night Trap.
Not House Trap?
Well, it takes place at night.
Okay.
I can only assume this was the line of reasoning that
I guess that's fair. I don't.
Yeah. It was released for, I believe, on the. Hold on. If you look here on the thing, you see these little things here. So I'm assuming it's PlayStation. Is what it was released for, but I'm getting it on Steam, so it is a PC game, and it is on Steam, and it's like $15. So
it's $15.
15. It's $15.
They're charging $15 for that.
It's the 25th anniversary, Chloe. I'm not. I You're like, how is this a thing? I love how angry. It kind of makes me want to invite you to be on the stream with us on Thursday. PS1, yeah.
Yeah, no,
it's Javier. Hi, Javier.
This would be
one
my
of our old, guests.
You mad bro clip.
So we're gonna do a little playthrough of it on Thursday, David, Tookie, and myself. So it should be interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
I'm not.
David says I'm
who feels like
re-examining
this is
all my life
frightening.
choices up to this point, Chloe.
Yeah,
So he's
well-
with you on this.
Okay.
I'm excited to see what lesson Tookie is going to garner from this piece of art.
David, I will be there. I'll watch the show as moral support. If you feel If you feel like you're going crazy at all, you just let me know and I will bring you back to reality by reaffirming how absolutely insane this game is.
Absolutely. So it is a subscriber only event, but it's super easy to be a subscriber. If you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to 2MB for free. Costs you nothing. You can use those as we've started using the term Bezos bucks. You can use those Bezos bucks right here on 2MB and help support the channel a little bit.
Please do.
Yeah. Speaking of supporting the channel, do you know how many followers we're at right now?
Where are we? Please tell me.
I am so excited. We are at 861.
Wow.
So we are the goal. My personal goal that I've set for myself is 1,000 followers by June 26th, which is my birthday.
I think we're gonna make it.
We only need 160 more. So I think maybe in the next week or so, I'm gonna have to up that. I'm gonna have to up that that goal just because we're already gonna have our goal.
We're gonna make it. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
I'll be able to tell my dad. He'll love that.
And we wouldn't be able to have all those followers if we didn't have just amazing people that do shows on 2MB. And a lot of those people are in the chat right now. So please, give a shout to Rachel Andelman, who is one of the producers of this show and for the channel as a whole. She also does all the social media for the station. Other Dave Thomas is on just about every show that we have, on the channel. Like he's a guest on just about every show, or he's working his way through.
Yeah.
So who else we got? We got Boof Wellington is someone that does a lot on the chat or on the channel. So it's just we've just got such an amazing group of people. Caitlin Kling is in the chat. Hi, Caitlin. Thanks for tuning in. Caitlin on Glitty Litter drank hot tea, not just hot tea. It was vanilla chamomile with cumin.
Why?
And it's the glitter box. You don't.
Are you okay?
Caitlin, we love your face too. She drank one with cumin and one with basil. It was something that the glitter box was doing last night because for some reason somebody came in and stole all the sweet out of Caitlin's apartment last night.
How rude!
Yeah, I don't know. She's got gnomes that live in her apartment, so I think they might have stolen all the sweet.
Get rid of those gnomes, buddy.
Glitty Litter is such a crazy show. I love it. I love it so much. That's the first, third, and fifth Sundays of the month. So if you're around or can go back and watch the replay for any of those, it is well worth it.
Well worth it.
Well worth it. So definitely tune into that. I'll try to pull up I made a little graphic for that show here. Let me pull it up here.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
I'm most excited for graphics. You know that.
You do love graphic. Oh, I'm putting that as the background. That's not what I want. We're gonna start doing now one time per show. We're just gonna say how much we miss Mike.
We miss Mike so much.
We miss Mike so much.
He's alive. He's just abandoned us.
He hasn't abandoned us. He's chosen his own health and fitness over the show, which you can't blame.
We have to condone. Oh wow!
Oh, there's that little graphic I made right there. Night Trap. So yeah, this Thursday, 6 p.m. Night Trap.
Excellent graphic.
I don't know who wrote the Night Trap. I want to find out who wrote the Night Trap theme song.
Probably a musical genius.
It was Andrew Lloyd Webber. You're 100%.
There is, in fact, a Night Trap musical in the works.
There is indeed.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. So normally we would have a musical guest at this point, but I don't know. I don't know. So it happens. We're it's we live in a world of technology. So she wasn't able. Doesn't look like she's made it. We'll bring her onto the stream if she pops in. But in the meantime, I mean, we might as well play at least some of her music, so you can check her out. I mean, we were going to do a YouTube clip anyway, so we have it pulled up, ready to go. Let's see. Let me pull up the song here. This is let's see. So this is a song called "If You Could," and the artist is Zwiacher. Is how I believe it is.
We hope we're saying that right.
We're saying it right. Zwiacher, and you can find her work. Let's see. You can find her work there at Zwiacher Say on Instagram. Her linked tree is on there as well. And so now we're just going to take a listen to one of her tunes.
Let's check it out.
Called "If You Could."
Woke up trying to get you out my head. I know you've been out there chilling, out there in her bed. Why do I gotta be here? I'm always trying to be shit. We couldn't be together. That's not what we said. I thought I lost myself when you're the one that threw me off. I guess it's time to take this love and throw it to the wall. I should've known the difference. You messed up, I'm tripping, yeah. Would you take it all back if you could? If you could, baby, would you do it different? If you could, baby, would you love me more? If I had the chance, I know I would. If you could, if you could. I felt myself just stop and stare. Look in the mirror, see that glare. You used to tell me I was beautiful. Can I feel that by myself? Guess you felt I was just usable. Look at your words, guess that's farewell. I thought I lost myself when you're the one that threw me off. I guess it's time to take this love and throw it to the wall. I should've known the difference. You messed up, I'm tripping, yeah. Would you take it all back if you could? If you could, baby, would you do it different? If you could, baby, would you love me more? If I had the chance, I know I would. If you could, if you could.
Chill vibe.
So cool. It's such a good chill vibe. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, check out the rest of her stuff. You can find her on Spotify. You can find her on SoundCloud. You can find her on Apple Music. And of course, go to Apple Music, drop the 99 cents, the dollar, whatever, to buy the song, and it, helps support the artist.
Yes, please.
Help support the artist because we need it.
We
need it. There is also a really cool article on a website called She Does the City that Rachel sent me, and I am going to paste the link for that in the chat so you can go around. She's only 19.
Wow.
And putting out music like that at 19, like I cannot wait to hear the body of work that will come from this artist. I think 21 now. Oh, okay, yeah, this was written.
That's still young.
That was written in 2019. I need to start checking dates. It's my first.
Oh, she's 22.
She's 22.
Still young. Still very young.
Yeah, Amon Dari Lopez. Sorry. Oh man, reading screen names is very hard sometimes. Says that they're her number one fan. So I will take whatever information. Yeah, we're doing great. It's Monday. We can only do as great as we can.
It's true.
She had a birthday not too long ago.
Happy birthday to
happy
her.
birthday. Speaking of birthdays.
Let's do birthdays.
Man, good segue. High five.
Nice work.
Fantastic. So let's do some birthdays, and then Chloe has got a little bit of what you're reading for us.
Sorry, Andrea Lopez. We will figure our lives out by next week.
Andrea Lopez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Andrea Lopez.
I'm Andrea Lopez. Oh, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just reading the letters. I'm just going letter by letter.
Wait, what did you say?
You know what? Let's move on. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Because I'm about to pronounce another name that
incorrectly.
Probably incorrectly, but I looked up how to pronounce it.
Fair.
I did this to myself because this was this was on the Google today when I opened up Google. It was this person's birthday, and it's Zikala Shah. Zikala Shah.
Yeah. Okay.
Is the name, and she is a Native American composer.
Oh, cool.
So if you go to the Google Doodle or whatever the Google thing is on the front of the Google page today, she is all over it. So check it out. There's also a cool, let's see, I found I've got so much. I've got so many tabs open right now. It's a little on the crazy side. But there's a video you can watch about her. She's fantastic.
Amazing.
Done so much. Speaking of people that have done a lot, happy birthday, R.I.P. Steve Irwin, the crocodile.
Steve Irwin.
And then Drew Barrymore and James Blunt.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. All today. And there was another, you mentioned another, did somebody mention another birthday? Do you know any birthdays going on today?
Today?
Mm-hmm. Or yesterday? Or
last couple of days, my friends Hillary and Ben, they are a couple, and their birthdays are one day apart.
Oh, well, isn't that amazing?
It is
So
amazing.
happy birthday to them. I should narrate the book. Aw. Yeah, happy birthday to Joe.
You're our favorite viewer.
Does some stuff on the channel. Once Upon a Doodle. Let's see what other birthdays we got this week. Let's see. Oh, come on, mouse. Here we go. Tomorrow, W.E.B. Du Bois, Emily Blunt, and Dakota Fanning.
Wow.
Wednesday, Billy Zane and Floyd Mayweather Jr. Thursday, Sally Jesse Raphael, one of my favorite talk show hosts from childhood, Ric Flair. And then Friday, Fats Domino and Johnny Cash.
Who is Fats Domino?
Fats Domino is a singer.
Okay.
Fats Domino sang. Let's see. I believe. Yes, he was a singer-songwriter let's see. He was born in 1928. He did stuff between 1955 and 1960.
Wow.
So, yeah. Happy birthday, Fats.
That's Domino.
That's him. All right, so those are our birthdays. Chloe, what you reading?
I'll tell you what I'm reading. It's a book called Toil and Trouble.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's a collection of short stories, 15 tales of women and witchcraft. I'm a little over halfway through, and I love it. It was it came out in like 2017, so it's still fairly new, but it's very so Tales of Women and Witchcraft is obviously very feminist, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of queer storylines.
Oh, cool.
And I love it. It's so good. And there's such a variety. You'd think that it would get sort of repetitive in terms of magic and stuff like that, but there's so many different interpretations of witchcraft. And part of, another thing that I really like about stories about witchcraft is, it's one of those things of, women are associated with witchcraft, and it's this metaphor for like the power that women have that people are afraid of. And so it has to be like secret. And the women in these stories are like taking hold of their power and stepping into their power, which is something that I always love to see. So highly recommend. It's and it's all women authors as well, which is cool.
Chloe, we should start a book club. We should start a Hello
We have
World.
to start a book club.
A Hello World book club. We've talked about it. I've never been in a book club because I can't trust myself to keep up. But maybe
We've
this
had
could
so
be
many great authors on the show.
We really have. So I tell you what, if you out there watching right now, or if you're watching this on the replay, thank you so much for watching it on the replay. If you shoot us an email, that's toomuchbread@gmail.com. And let us, I'm going to leave that up for a little bit longer. You get it for 30 seconds. That's it.
Too much bread.
Shoot us an email right down there. Shoot us an email and let us know if you're interested in maybe being a part of the Hello World book club. And then we can talk about books in the morning that we've all read. Or audiobooks. Like we could listen to audiobooks instead. That would be I need to get audio thing. Rachel's trying to get me onto audiobooks. And I love that idea. It works in theory. But my problem is my mind will kind of wander. Right. And then I'll kind of like all of a sudden, like the words just kind of become like noise, like just talking.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh shit, what just happened?
Right? I use audiobooks to fall asleep too. So I couldn't tell you. I could give you like a couple of the characters. I could not tell you.
But you know every word of it. It's all in your subconscious.
It's in here somewhere. I just have to find that like it's like a sleeper cell situation. Somebody says the key word, it'll all come back.
Rocking chair.
Tell you the whole story.
Yeah. We'll get a hypnotist in here. And Rachel, could you find us a hypnotist to be a guest on the show? But yeah, if you're into the idea of being a part, Rachel's on it. She is.
Got it.
Yeah, she'll probably have somebody by the time I talk to her next, which will be in about 45 minutes. But yeah, if you're interested in maybe partaking in a little bit of a Hello World,
she's already got one.
She's already got one. Shh. Wow. I think it's Rachel. I think Rachel's actually a hypnotist. She's just going to come on and hypnotize us.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, shoot us an email. That's toomuchbread@gmail.com and say, Matt, Chloe, we want to be in on this book club.
Do a book club.
And yeah, we could figure that out.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too hard. We are hurtling faster and faster towards the end of the show.
You know, I think people are looking for the answer to that trivia question.
You mean this trivia question?
That trivia question.
The sweet potato is the official vegetable of this state?
This state?
Yeah. Because of course I didn't fix it while I was busy hosting a show.
Yeah.
So let's see. Do we have any guesses in the chat right now? The sweet potato is the official vegetable of what state? Go ahead if you've got a guess, throw it in the chat right now.
Yeah.
And we'll see if you are right.
Think of a sweet state.
Think of a sweet state. And while you're thinking on that, Chad, here's another just quick reminder: subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. If you'd like to be a part of our newsletter, we do have a 2MB newsletter. We don't send out a lot of stuff. We just send out one newsletter a week that has all the information for the channel, like the show schedule for the week and all that good stuff. So if you want to be a part of that, I'm going to get you a link here, and you can just go to this Google form and sign up. There you go. Let's see. Colleen France says Montana. I will say this. You're in the wrong part of the country, Colleen. You're in the wrong part of the country. Chloe, do you have a guess?
Second guess was Kansas.
Kansas. Still wrong part of the country. You haven't gone east enough.
It's
farther
east.
It is an eastern state. It's okay, Colleen. This is about as low stakes as you can get. We're not.
We got to know, Matt. Just tell us.
Well, you know, it's the buildup. The answer is, in fact, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
They are the largest producer of sweet potatoes in the U.S. So it is their state vegetable.
Wow.
So that's that.
I never knew that about North Carolina.
Yeah. There you go. So that is the answer to our trivia question. Coming up later today on 2MB, it's Game Show Monday. We love our game shows on 2MB. And tonight proves that. We have That Sounds Right. We have Poof, the Magical Game Show, and we have Run On. That starts at 7. We got programming from 7 p.m. all the way until 10 p.m. Tonight. And we have shows, pretty much every day of the week here. And sometimes this is the only morning show. So we've got some daytime slots to fill, but every night we have programming, so you can tune in and check us out. Thank you all so much for watching. Chloe, do you have any words of wisdom?
I do.
That you would like to share with us this morning?
I do. Explore your own backyard. We don't have much of a choice right now.
I love that.
But try and look at things from a new perspective. Be a tourist in your own space and see what you can discover.
I love that. Thank you, Chloe. And thank you all for watching. We will see you next week. Goodbye, world.
Goodbye, world.